Alright, so I've received a couple requests to do a print and cut tutorial. So I'm going to show you my process. So as you can see, I have all my artwork loaded in here into Adobe Illustrator. I have everything grouped together. So the two registration marks, each one is their own group. So if I turn that off, you'll see one of them goes away, the other one goes away. I have the artwork as a group, and then I have the outline, which is the cut line for LightBurn when you go to laser cut these printed patches. That's what LightBurn is going to use as the cut lines. So we'll show you what that process looks like. Basically, I deselect the outline so it doesn't show when it prints. Do a file, export as, and I already have it exported as a TIFF file. I'm printing these on white leatherette, so you don't need to take that extra step of creating a spot channel in Photoshop. If I were printing these on black, I would need to save this as a PNG and then bring it into Photoshop, add a spot channel, and then save it as a TIFF. But since I'm printing this design specifically on white, I'm just going to save it as a TIFF and be done with it. So since I already have that, I'm not going to save over it. And then for the cut layers, you're going to do a file, export as a PDF. And again, I already have it saved there, so I'm not going to export it again. And then I just turn it on and I'll save the file so it's good. So then next step, what I do is I bring that artwork into the RIP software, and I have mine set up where the bottom right corner is the front right corner of the printer bed, and I will show you guys what that looks like. For these, again, I'm printing on white leatherette, so there's no need for spot layer, so I'll just make sure that that is off. I will print. This is my preference. I like to print at 12 pass for white. Just gives a little bit more color, a little bit more depth, and I will show you guys what that looks like here in a second. I will head over to the printer and we'll see what that looks like. So when you're setting up the printer bed should be about 3 to 5 millimeters from the head. So I just measure that. I will bump it up, and we're right about 4, so I'm going to leave that set where it is. I'll send the head back to home, and we're going to get started printing here in a second. So the job is being sent to the printer. You can see that printer head moving, and we're going to start printing. So printer is pretty quick. Once it's done printing, we will then take it over to the Thunderbolt and we'll show you the steps on how to line up those registration marks and get everything dialed in for the print and cut. But for now, we'll just kind of and I'm going to be awfully close on this bottom row to the far left edge, but I think we'll still be okay. We still got a little bit of room there, so it's not a problem. You can see quality on this printer is amazing for the price point that it's at. We've been really happy with it so far. It hasn't really been that bad of a learning curve. I think the thing I struggled with the most was printing on dark colors and getting those really bright, crisp whites and bright, crisp colors. But now we're dialed in. So we're going to let this finish up and we'll come back to it. All right, so we're just about finished up. Making the final few passes. And once this is done, we'll get it over on the laser. And we'll show you guys how to do the print and cut. Get it set up in LightBurn, and then we'll show you the bolt in action, cutting these patches out. We'll see what that looks like. All right, so over here in now in LightBurn, you're going to want to find that PDF that you saved. Which is this one. It's going to come in like this. Just change it to whatever you're using as your cut layer. First step is group that together, make it T1, which is your tool layer. Go to your other registration mark, group it together, and make that one T2. So now select T1, come up here to Laser Tools, Print and Cut, and go to the Start Wizard. And it's going to ask you to set that first position target. So we'll go over to the laser and we'll show you what that looks like. So once you all right, so over here in LightBurn, you have your two registration marks, and we just started the wizard to set that first registration point. So we're gonna use the keypad and move that laser head and get it as close as we can into position. So you can you can see the red dot. So from here, I change it to manual. I change this nudge to 1 for now, so I can move it in small increments. And you want to get it pretty close. Now, it's probably hard to tell. That's pretty close, but it's not 100%. So what I do from here is I change this nudge to 0.1. And that, when you watch, barely moves it. But that's what I do to get it dialed in. Now that's about on point. So we're going to head back to the computer and show you what to do next. So once you have your red dot in the center of that registration point, you hit set. And then what you do is you select the second registration mark and hit jog. And what that will do is automatically jog your machine to that area. So we'll do that and show you what that looks like. Show you what to do next. So when you hit jog, it will get you in the approximate ballpark of that second registration mark. So you can see it moved over, but it's not centered. So we're going to come back here and use our manual, change it back to 1, and I will move it into the closest position possible, and then I'll come back here and change that nudge to 0.1, and then I'll do the same thing that I did above, is just jog it into about the position it looks where it's centered, and that looks pretty good. So we will go back to the computer and we'll show you where to pick up. So again, so back at the computer, you're going to hit set to register that second registration mark, the position of it. So you hit set, and then it's going to ask you scaled or no scaling. We always do scaled. And that gets you everything you need for registering your print and cut. Now, this is personal preference, but what we do is we do the round frame and just get a good idea of where that positioning is. It runs a little bit slower so we can really take a good look and make sure that we're where we need to be. So we'll show you what that looks like over at show you where to pick up. So again, we do that round frame just to give us a good idea of if we're in the ballpark, which we should be. So you can see it moving, and yeah, everything looks really good. So we're going to go back to the computer, send the job to the laser, and we'll get it running over at the laser. All right, so once you've confirmed that your frame looks good and you're where you want to be, we'll just hit send that job to the laser. All right, let's go we'll get it running. See what it looks like running. All right, guys, so we're ready to hit send. This job's over at the laser, so let's get it going. So far, everything is looking really good. We're on the right paths. Sticking within the boundaries that it needs to. I don't see any white gaps around the edges, so that's a good thing. We're in good shape. All right, that's it. So, final moment of truth. Let's see what we look like. You can see all those cuts look really good. We're happy with that. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, let us know. But hopefully this helps.